Google dropped a massive update when it comes to how it paces your budget, especially if you're using ad scheduling. So I want to walk through this update because I did get this email 6 days ago as of the time of recording. So on February 19th, Google sent this out. They did not send this to everybody, but for certain accounts, they did. And it was a big update. And to be honest, when I first got this email, I was very confused on what it meant. But I did get some clarity from specifically Ginny Marvin, who's Google's Ads Liaison, and just want to kind of walk through what this means, especially if you're in B2B lead gen or you use ad scheduling on your campaigns to perhaps run during business hours when the sales teams are available to answer calls, to answer leads. So let's read this. So it's updates to Google Ads budget pacing for ad scheduling. So starting on March 1st, 2026, we will gradually begin rolling out a change to Google Ads average daily budget pacing for advertisers using ad scheduling. This change will take effect for campaigns, and that's this account. Your monthly spending limit remains 30.4 times your average daily budget. However, our systems will now proactively attempt to spend up to this limit regardless of the campaign's ad schedule. So when I first saw this, I was like, okay, well, what if we, have ads on during the weekdays? So that's 5 days a week. And I'll go into the math here in a second. And then I was wondering, does that mean that even though ads are paused on weekends, Google will now try to make up for that spend when those ads are off on weekends during those weekdays when the campaigns are on? So in that case, a lot of people were, panicking. They're like, well, now is Google going to spend more than 2 times my daily budget on a given day? No, that is not happening. I think that's what the biggest concern was Google can now spend, if it's $100 daily budget, it can spend $700 on a day or something like that. That's not the case. It still will respect the 2x or double the spend on one day. It won't go past that. If it goes past that, you will be credited. This change can help ensure a more consistent monthly spend for customers. Spending limits will remain the same, like I just said. You'll never be billed more than twice your average daily in a single day, or 30.4 times your average daily budget per month. Your campaigns will never run on days when they are turned off using ad schedules. Be sure to adjust your budgets accordingly if your spending goals will be impacted by this change. So it's very vague messaging here. And so I wasn't fully clear on what this was. So I took it to LinkedIn, and let me pull that up. So I posted this on LinkedIn, and Ginny Marvin, I did tag Ginny Marvin. I asked her if this is new. Is this only being applied to certain accounts? So she did jump in, and she said, your client's use case for ad scheduling is very common. First, I just want to underscore that this has no impact on ad scheduling itself. I think we were aware of that. And ads will continue to only run during scheduled times. We're making this change to better align budget pacing functionality when ad scheduling is placed with advertisers' expectations for monthly spending limits. Ad spend will continue to be driven by the campaign's goal, conversions or conversion value. So she basically said the same thing as the email, gave a little bit more details. So I then kind of laid out an example. So if an advertiser sets a $100 a day budget with ad scheduling from Monday through Thursday only, that's 17 active days per month roughly. So the monthly spending limit is that 30.4 times 100, which is 3,040. So previously, if Google wasn't aggressively trying to hit that, spend might land around 1,700, which is like 17 of those active days per the ad schedule times 100. Under this new change, if Google now proactively attempts to spend up to the monthly limit, it would need to average 180 a day roughly across the 17 active days. So in that case, Google could spend that 179 a day every day because that doesn't reach the 2x threshold per day. So I laid that out, and it says, so I asked if advertisers should expect to see their daily spend consistently hitting closer to that 2x ceiling. And she confirmed that. So basically under this change, if you're using ad scheduling and you're paused or your ads are not running on certain days, you should expect your daily budget for those days the campaigns are active to reach closer to that 2x threshold, or most likely over at least the 1x threshold. So this is just a way for Google to utilize more of your budget for when ads are on, because Google's operating more on a monthly basis rather than a daily basis. So she went into a little bit more details, kind of explaining, ROAS and CPA targets, and that should be used to dictate pacing and spend and things like that. But if you have strict monthly budgets, you need to recalculate what those daily budgets need to be on your campaign level, assuming that Google will spend up to 2x that daily limit more often. So the intensity of spend during those days that the ad schedule is live should be higher as a result of this change. So it's a little bit confusing. You're going to have to perhaps recalculate, what your daily budgets at the campaign level need to be, knowing that 2x threshold might be met more often. So that's the big change, especially for B2B lead gen. Like I said, you need to be super cautious of this. This is not rolling out to every account that uses ad scheduling at the moment. It's one of those phased approaches that Google is taking. So in my example, the client that I'm working on did get the notice. It is going into effect March 1st, but not every account is transitioning to this on March 1st. If you didn't get an email, you don't need to expect that to take place on March 1st. So, and Ginny did confirm that somewhere in the comments, but keep your eye out for the email. If you're using ad scheduling, there are, different ways that people are thinking about what should we do as a result of this. Number one, recalculate your budgets. Monitor the daily spend very closely if you're one of the accounts where this is going into effect in March. And then just be very vigilant if you're running those campaigns and you have, sales teams in place that are handling these leads that you're getting. So for business reasons, if you're setting these schedules rather than performance reasons, you just need to be really vigilant about how you're thinking about these budgets. So it's just one of those updates where the devil really is in the details. I hope not a lot of advertisers get caught off guard when this comes into effect and maybe they didn't see the email. That's why I'm making this video, just to make people more aware, maybe provide more clarity on what this update actually means. Since I've had the time to kind of learn more about it, we've heard from Ginny here in the comments. So yeah, I just wanted to provide this update. Subscribe to the channel if you want more updates like this. I would love to kind of grow the community and continue to put out updates, tips, especially as it pertains to Google Ads. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.